Hi, welcome back. Today will be a 30-minute flow practice, and I invite you to set the intention of abundance. If we keep our mindset on that of lack or want or everything that's been taken away from us or the thought that it's been taken away from us, and we take it really personally, we will never be content. So inviting you to drop the mindset of scarcity and start to plant the seeds of abundance, and life will radically change. I'll meet you on the mat. So as you come to the mat, I'll have you stand in Tadasana. Tadasana means mountain pose. Mountains are strong and can withstand anything. I'm going to have you shift your weight slightly forward and back in your feet. Spread all 10 toes wide on the ground. Find a comfortable distance for your feet, either toes together, heels slightly apart, or feet hip distance apart. And inhale, stretch your arms up, focusing here on rooting down and then rising up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Begin to connect with the breath in your body. Inhaling, reaching up. Exhale, folding forward. Pelvis over thighs. Walk your hands forward, lower your knees to the ground and come to seated. It can be kneeling or you can cross your legs. Interiorizing, eyes closed or downturned. And establishing a relationship here with the intention that you've set. Moving it from the mind into the heart. Breathe it into your body. Trusting that our exhalations are dispelling what no longer serves us. Finding that rhythmic breath as you rest in your intention. And then come onto your hands and your knees. Of course, the front of the shoulders or towards the back of the wrists. Begin to sit your sitting bones back to your heels. This is called Balasana, child's pose. This child's pose is soft for a few breaths, softening the elbows. Simply focusing on breath here. Breathing expansion into the back of the body. Shift your shoulders back over your wrists. Tuck the toes under in the back body. All 10 fingers rooted to the ground. Begin to move through cow and cat, inhaling as you look forward. Exhaling, looking towards the navel. Press the earth away with your hands and your knees. Inhale, undulating the heart forward. Exhale, navel to spine, looking towards the belly. Beautiful. Stay with that a few more rounds. Nice and smooth. Really get in touch with the abdominal muscles. Last one. Extend your right leg back, toes tucked under. Press through your heel. Shoulders stay over the wrists here. Right thigh bone pressing to the sky. And now take that leg over the other leg and keep pressing through the heel. Now look over your left shoulder like you're trying to look at your toes. Breathe into your side body. Beautiful. Bring that leg back to center and release down. Same thing, other side. Extend left leg back. Keep the hips over the knees, shoulders over the wrist. Press through the left heel, left thigh bone to the sky. And now take that leg and cross it over the right leg and look towards the toes. Great. Bring that back to center. Keeping those arms strong, extend the right leg back again, bringing that heel to hip height. You're going to squeeze that glute. Keep reaching through the crown of your head and back through that heel. Now extend your left arm alongside the ear. Imagine that you're reaching from your navel in both directions. Keeping that hand on the ground firm and squeeze the knee and the elbow together. Beautiful. Extend long. And exhale, release hand and knee. Other side. Extending the left leg, pressing through the heel. Keeping the heel at hip height, extending right arm alongside right ear. Right thumb points to the sky here. Hug the shoulder in. Feel the belly draw to the back body. Pressing the floor away with the left hand. Breathing here. Now squeeze elbow and knee together. Really contract abdominals. Inhale, get really long again. And exhale, release down. A little organic movement here. Maybe a little bit of shifting through your hips. Might be something else that feels good for you right now. Moving and breathing. Tuck the toes under, draw the sitting bones back to the heels, walk your hands slightly forward, about 1 hand length forward, so the ears can drop in between those arms that are parallel. Those arms are strong here. Begin to elevate your sitting bones to the sky and lowering one heel down towards the ground. Notice that beautiful diagonal from the wrists to the sitting bones and from the sitting bones to the heels. It's not important that the heels come to the ground. They may or they may not. We want to feel sensation through the belly of the hamstrings. Bend the knees a lot. Lift onto your toes and then lower your heels down wherever they go. Release your neck. Just a little bit of movement side to side. We want it to feel free and not locked. Riding your breath here. Building up upper arm strength. Remembering our intention of abundance. Beautiful. Inhale, right leg up to the sky and begin to bend that knee. Now open up that hip a little bit. Keep looking towards the back knee. Press the earth away. Beautiful. Pelvis comes back into neutral. Extend that leg up and lower it down slow and control. Other side. Inhale, left leg reaches to the sky as you press into the earth with the hands. Bend the left knee. Drop that left heel in towards the right glute. Keep pressing the armpits down towards the ground. Square off the pelvis, extend the leg, and slowly lower it down to the ground. Invitation to take the feet towards the width of the mat. Keep the arms strong, pressing the chest back towards that space in the thighs. Begin to walk your hands back towards your feet. Pivot your heels slightly in, toes slightly out. We're coming into a squat. So pivoting the knees out towards the baby toes, draw the sitting bones down towards the earth, and you can use your elbows here to open the inner edges of your thighs. If your heels are off the ground, I would encourage you to roll up your mat and sit your heels on that. Breathe here. Keep support through your pelvic floor here. You don't want to feel as if your insides are dropping out. Hands back to the earth. Let your sitting bones rise up. Feet hip distance apart. Keeping the quadriceps strong as you stay in your standing forward fold. Making any modifications, you can use blocks, rest hands on shins. Keep extending the crown out of the sitting bones. Bend the knees. Inhale, sweep the arms up through strong legs. A little bit of a back bend here. Keep your abdominals to support you. Revolve your palms up to the sky, interlacing your fingers, rooting down and rising up simultaneously. Reaching for abundance. Bring the hands back to your heart. Now step your feet towards the width of your mat, seeing if you can bring those ankles about under the distance that your wrists would be if they were extended. And then begin to reach your hands up to the sky, interlacing your fingers, reach through the tips of your fingers and lean over to one side, keeping your feet nice and wide here. Imagine squeezing the inner edges of your thighs towards each other. Inhale, come up. Staying long through the side body, even as you hinge over, reaching up and out of the pelvis, using some obliques here, some inner thigh muscles here, riding your breath. Inhale back through center, hands to heart center. Coming up to Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Keeping the pelvis facing the wide part of your mat. Pivot your right hip open, pointing your toes towards the end of the mat. Begin to bend into that right knee. Making sure it tracks over the middle of the foot. Inhale, reaching up through the arms. Exhale, bending into that right knee. Keep opening it towards your baby toe. We'll do this 3 more times. Inhale, reaching to rise. Exhale, resisting the air with your arms as you bring them back to parallel. Inhale, press the floor away. Reach up, look towards your fingers. Exhale, bending into that right knee. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, arms parallel. Beautiful. Breathe here. Interlace your hands behind your back. Keep that nice deep knee bend through that right knee. Open your heart, opening to abundance, opening to all the abundance that is already in your life. It's there, you just have to see it. Keeping the legs just as they are, reaching through your right arm, coming into extended side angle, bringing that right elbow onto the right thigh, but still using your side body muscles to hold you up here. That elbow is just gently resting there. Option to wrap the left arm around the low back, maybe take the inner thigh, and maybe lowering that right hand to the outer edge of the foot, pressing the knee towards the arm. Keep reaching on the diagonal through the outer edge of the back foot, that left foot, and through the crown of the head. You can look down, forward, or up. Plant your hands on the ground, square off your hips, lower the left knee to the floor, coming into Crescent Lunge. I like to keep my back knee tucked here, my back toes tucked. Noticing that beautiful diagonal, lovely opening here through the front of the left hip. Feeling your breath, the shoulders are square here. Beautiful. Plant your hands, peel that right foot up to the sky, find three-legged dog, and then release it down beside the other. Beautiful. Inhale, left leg to rise, and exhale, step that foot through. We're going to do that sequence, but in the reverse. So lower your right knee to the floor, coming here into a nice deep lunge, that left knee tracking over the ankle, working it towards the armpit, towards the inner edge of the arm there. Breathe. Notice the head isn't dropping down, nor is it arching up, finding that natural length of the spine. We're opening right away here into Warrior Two, so pivot. The right foot is parallel to the narrow end of your mat, and that front knee tracking still over the middle of the foot. Let's bring those arms up tall. Inhale. Exhale, draw that left knee towards the left baby toe. Inhale, press the earth away, rise up. Exhale, press the earth away, come back to parallel arms. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, press that air away. I always like to think of it as kind of moving through really thick air. Use a little resistance. Inhale, pressing, reaching. Exhale, controlled, back to Warrior Two. Once more, inhale, reach up. Beautiful. Exhale, Warrior Two, Virabhadrasana B. Both feet parallel now, still staying nice and wide. Outer edges of the feet in line with the narrow ends of your mat. Interlace your hands behind your back. Squeeze those inner elbows towards each other. Squeeze the two legs towards each other. And exhale, hinge forward. Strong quadriceps. Outer edges of the feet remaining parallel. Squeezing those elbows towards each other in the back of the body. Belly stays supporting this pose, hugging in. Let the hands plant underneath the shoulders. Inhale, come up partway. You can always use your blocks here. Exhale, fold, rotating the pelvis over the thigh bones. Inhale, lift up. Just partway. Exhale, fold again. Nice and fluid movements here in concert with the breath. That's what makes it flow. Inhale, crown from sitting bones. Exhale, bending the elbows, looking between those thighs. Inhale, lengthening. Keep those quadriceps strong. We're going to toe heel those feet in once again, nice and narrow. We're doing this as a preparatory pose for something that's coming. So coming back into your squat. Use the elbows to open up those inner thighs. Tailbone and crown reaching away from center. Hands come back down to the floor. Let your sitting bones rise. Bring those feet back towards parallel. Toe heel them towards parallel. Beautiful. Spread all 10 toes on the floor and bow down, standing forward fold. Keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Just coming into whatever is available for you. Bend your knees. Sweep the arms up as you press the earth away. Come into a lateral stretch here, reaching up and out of those hips. Reaching to the right. Back through center and over to the left. Reaching up and bring the hands back down through the heart. Beautiful. Coming into our balance sequence. Make sure the toes of the left foot are spread on the ground. Root down through the center of your heel as you bring your right knee up towards hip height. You can always hold the right knee with your hands. Press down through the standing leg just as much as you're reaching up through your crown. Connecting to the earth below and the sky above. Nice and strong here. Use your pelvic floor, using abdominals, and always using breath. Beautiful. Keeping that knee where it is, begin to pivot forward over that standing leg. Coming into a variation of Warrior 3. So bring your hand to the floor and then extend that left leg long, keeping that pelvis in a neutral position. Just make sure that that left hip isn't reaching above the right. Not yet anyway. We'll come to that in a minute. Just pressing through that right heel. Beautiful. Coming into half moon, called Ardha Chandrasana. You can always use a block here. Pause and practice this a little bit more if you like. You're reaching out through the top leg, reaching from wrist to wrist. It can be a tough one to hold, so we're not staying too long, and lowering down. Find your forward fold over those strong legs. Bend the knees, sweep the arms up to the sky, and back to heart center. We'll do that sequence on the other side, so make sure all 5 toes of the right foot are rooted. And begin to draw your left knee forward and letting that knee come towards hip height. Make sure that you haven't jacked up that left hip though, so keeping it in line with the right. Press down through the right foot. Keep the toes spread evenly on the ground. Reach up through center, long side body. Even breath here. Bringing your hands to your hips, begin to draw the chest forward, reach through the crown. I like to keep that leg bent today. That leg that's lifting is going to stay bent at the knee. Bring the hands to the floor and then extend the left leg back. My foot's a little high here, but you're working, there we go, working it towards hip height. Pressing strongly into the standing leg and strongly out of that elevated leg. Pivot now your right hip above your left and begin to open your arms wide. Ardha Chandrasana on the other side here. So this really strong pose, reaching through the back heel, through the crown. Beautiful. Release the hands, square those hips back to the floor, and release that leg. And we will stay in forward fold for a bit. Find your variations if your big toes are available, or can take your hands on your shins. If you have your big toes, you'll work your elbows out to the side and draw your shoulder blades together towards the back body. That's not the most important thing here. Just feeling sensation through the belly of your hamstring. Feel some sensation of ease in your neck. Always in coordination with your breath. Let the breath be abundant. How many times throughout the day can you remind yourself to have an abundant breath? Beautiful. 10 toes back on the ground. I'm going to bring my big toes together, bend the knees, squeeze the knees together, reach up, find a bit of a back bend here, and hands to heart center, fold forward. Take a nice deep knee bend through the knees. We're going to come into a spinal twist, keeping those sitting bones nice and low, keeping the knees squeezing together to release across the low back. Notice the knees aren't tracking beyond the toes here. Begin to draw your right elbow to the outer edge of your left thigh. So I'm stacking shoulder over shoulder. It's okay if one knee comes slightly forward, but it's not going to be really far forward. So you're tilting through your pelvis here. So you're noticing that your left side of your pelvis is just opening slightly more than the right. That's okay. Come back to center. Press the earth away, reach up, get long. Beautiful. Exhale, taking a seat again. Inhale, and on the exhalation, other side, bringing the left elbow to the outer part of the right thigh, squeezing those towards each other, open across the chest, breathing deeply here. All of the feet on the floor, all parts of the foot. So heels aren't lifted, toes aren't lifted. Option, you can always wrap your arm around the low back, always modify in a way that serves you. Bring your hands back to heart center, plant the hands on the floor, and then begin to elevate the sitting bones to the sky. Bring those feet hip distance apart as you bow over your thighs. Walk those feet out a little bit more, coming once again into a squat. Use those elbows to open up the knees. Preparing for our peak pose today, which is a balance pose on your arms. So this is called Bakasana. You may even just stay in this shape that I'm in for prep. And then you're going to plant your hands flat on the floor. If the hands aren't flat here, then I don't want you to proceed. Make sure all 10 fingers in the back of the palms can be on the earth as we come into the next part of this pose. Now draw the feet together, elevate your sitting bones. Bring your big toes together and begin to bend your knees out towards your armpits. Let your big toes stay together. Shift your weight forward into the tips of your finger and maybe play with lifting one toe off the ground at a time or not lifting either of your feet. And then maybe eventually, maybe both toes will come off the ground. You're gazing slightly forward. Beautiful. Release the toes. Just do a little bit of organic movement or come back into that squat position. Nice effort, everyone. The soles of the feet find the earth. I like to come into, I call them praying mantis hands, bring the backs of my wrists together when I come out of an inversion or an arm balance. Begin to draw your sitting bones down to the floor. Left leg long, crossing the right foot over the left knee. Let's have that left toe point to the sky. Nice and tall through the spine as you inhale. Utilize each in-breath to get tall and each out-breath to find the rotation right from the base of the spine upwards. Continuing to draw that left shoulder towards the right knee and open broad across the chest here. Left thigh bone to the ground, sole of the left foot nice and strong. Beautiful. Coming into half shoelace pose, begin to draw that right knee stacking above the left knee. Right foot, again, very active here, strong ankle, so it's not lazy. And leaning up and out of the pelvis, extending the torso on the diagonal. Fingertips can reach back along the side body as a reminder to keep that spine integrity here. Notice that my crown is reaching out of the shoulders. You can support your chin on your hands, but just don't let the head dangle. I'd rather that your head didn't dangle here. Inhale, come all the way up. Beautiful length from sitting bones to crown and back to heart center. Other side. Cross left foot over outer right knee. Right toes point to the sky. Get tall. Inhale, lift up through the crown. And exhale, revolve your torso towards that left knee. Inhale for length. Create distance between your vertebra. And exhale, rotating into that distance that you've created. Beautiful. Come back to center. Stack that left knee above the right. Half shoelace pose. Hands can come onto the knees. Thigh bone that's on the ground is pressing down, reaching through that long leg, reaching through the heel. Inhale, lifting up and out of the pelvis as you fold forward. Couple more breaths. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale to the heart. Release the feet down to the floor. I'm going to have you hold the under part of your thighs. So snuggle your chest in really close to the thighs and only come down as far as you can feel sensation in the legs. Beautiful. Breathe here. Modified Pashimotanasana, seated forward fold. Come on up, preparing to make our way down onto the ground. I'm going to grab a block and place it between my thighs. If you don't have a block, just keep your knees about hip distance apart. Begin to come down to the floor. You could always hold the back of your thighs, scoop out, hollow out the belly as you slowly lower down. Breathing as you journey down, breathing as you journey, stable through the abdominal muscles, and release shoulders to the floor, head to the floor, knees into the chest, and remove the block. Continue to hold the left knee into the thighs. You extend your right leg up to the sky. Ensure that your abdominals are helping to support you here, and slowly lower the heel down to the ground. Bend your knee if needed. Otherwise, really strong here, reaching through that long leg, strong abdominals. And bend that knee into the chest. Switch sides. Hold the right knee and extend through your left heel up to the sky. Ensure that the back of the ribs stay connected to the earth. Hold the knee in nice and close as you reach through the left heel. Slowly lower that leg. Just hover it above the floor. Reaching through the left heel as you hug the right knee in. Draw left knee into chest. Knees coming towards the width of the armpits. Hold the thigh or walk your hands up to the outer edges of the feet and come into happy baby pose. Keep your heart space open here. Draw the shoulder blades towards the spine. Now, Supta Bakasana, reclined butterfly pose. Use those elbows to open those knees wide, drawing those heels close to the groin. Few breaths here. And now bringing those feet down to the ground, staying in this reclined butterfly pose, planting one hand on the heart, one on the belly. Feeling open and receptive to the abundance that is in your life. So take an opportunity here to notice everything that you have to be thankful for that is so abundant in your life. It doesn't have to be big, it's the small things that matter. Now, take stock of where you're at in your practice. See if you're ready to come into Shavasana. If there's something else that your body needs right now, mine needs Matsyasana fish, so I'm going to bring that to myself. If you'd like to join me, bring your legs together and bring your palms facing down underneath your glutes. Lengthening the legs to the end of the mat, zip up those thighs. Bring the elbows underneath the shoulders, elevate your heart to the sky. Now, if there was ever a pose that symbolizes abundance, this is it. The heart is open, breathing here. Beautiful. Lower down and maybe let those knees move from side to side. So our final Shavasana, arms apart, legs apart. Take a deep breath into the belly. Exhale, sigh out of the mouth, let it go. Eyes closed, bones, muscles, everything surrendering to the floor to receive and absorb the effects of this practice. finishing today's practice with a quote from Eckhart Tolle. Acknowledging the good that you already have in your life is the foundation for all abundance. Namaste.